Time to fire up the VCR. This one's my favorite. That was gold.
The world is a vampire.
Welcome to Analog Jones in the Temple of Film. I'm Steve.
Matt.
And this week we got into our mini episode, our non-VHS episode, and we did Rampage.
Yes, and happy 420 to our folks that celebrate the holiday today. You made it.
Now, you promised you were going to walk into this movie high to watch it. Did you fulfill your promise?
Yes, I did. Accidentally too much. So just to be clear, I'm not stoned in any way right now, but I was extraordinarily stoned during Rampage. What I did, I never smoke alone. Like, I don't smoke that often. I mean, I do. I smoke. I partake, but like I don't do it like that often. And when I do, it's usually like with at least one other person. But so I was by myself, which I almost never do. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna take a couple hits before going to the movie, and I was gonna be, just kind of see it under the influence, celebrating the holiday. Doing it for the podcast, guys, not doing it for me.
This is a judge-free zone here at Analog Jones. We will not judge you, Matt.
Yeah, but I was doing it for you guys. I mean, I'll get into it in a sec, but like I go to do it, I go to take a few hits. All of a sudden, I like finish the bowl. My girlfriend Ashley picks me up, and we're going to go see Rampage, and we're in the car, and I'm like, oh no, I'm too high. I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know where I am. But, being high is different than being drunk. I'm in the most positive state like there could be, but I don't know what's going on. So I love life and I love everything in it, but I'm stoned out of my mind. We get to the movie and the trailers start and everything like that. And I'm like, thinking as I'm sitting in the theater, I'm like, this is like my favorite thing in the world. Like, I wish I could do this all the time. Not for every movie, but for like movies like this, I wish I could always go stoned because I was in such a positive state and I was so excited to be there. It was like seeing a movie as a little kid again. Like, that's what it felt like because I was just so like not in my head. So I was just like excited. I was like, I'm gonna see The Rock. I'm gonna see a big movie, and I'm like in a full crowd of super excited people, and I was like, This was like great. I was like, I wish I could do this all the time. Yeah, and then the movie started, so I can talk about sort of how I felt when we get into it here.
Now, if there's any movie to see as a little kid, it's a 90s New Line film.
Yeah.
And this was a New Line film that straight up felt like a script from 1996, but we had like 2018 CG.
Yeah, immediately felt like a 90s. So it was like the best like teleportation back in time feeling, because it did feel like a 90s New Line movie. So like it's great for the kids that came out and saw it this weekend, and then it's also great for stoners that want to relive their nostalgic youth.
This is a really interesting adaptation of a video game. I don't think anyone was clamoring for Rampage. I thought it was a really weird movie to make in 2018.
I agree.
It doesn't really make any sense until I read more into it. Now, New Line was purchased by Warner Brothers, 2000 whatever, and Warner Brothers purchased Midway in 2009. So they had all the property rights to a bunch of these games, and this was one where they were really excited to remake. Blowing my mind is I can't figure out why they were excited to remake it. I get if you get The Rock connected to something, you'd be excited, because that would create excitement.
Right.
But they seem to be excited before The Rock was ever a part of this.
I'm very vaguely familiar with the game. I remember playing it in some arcades back when there were arcades, but just like kind of like button mashing and just playing for 15 minutes until I died or whatever, and then walking away from it. Like it wasn't like something I had some sort of attachment to, and I don't know anybody who did have any kind of nostalgic attachment to it.
No, my brothers and I played it on the NES a lot. I didn't play it so much in the arcade. I never had an arcade around me that I can remember that had this. But we had it on the NES. I know there was other ones maybe for the Super Nintendo or whatever, I don't know. I just didn't play them, and I felt like this game, after about a good solid 15, 20, maybe 30 minutes, you'd be like, okay, I've destroyed enough buildings, I want to go outside.
Yeah. That's how I felt too, like, playing it in the arcade. It was like, as soon as I died, I was like, all right, good. Like, I don't need to put, like, I'm good.
Let's get down to the details of this. We had it directed by Brad Peyton, who you can laugh at him for doing Cats and Dogs 2, Journey 2, or San Andreas, but his movies make money.
He's got fun, base level, mainstream entertainment figured out. He really does. San Andreas is an absolute blast. Like, it benefits from having The Rock. I have not seen Journey 2 or Cats and Dogs 2, but from what I hear, both of them are miles better than the originals because they're fun. They're stupid, but they're fun. That's what I hear. And San Andreas is kind of that too. So I imagine this director has it figured out.
And New Line loves him.
Yeah.
So we had this produced also by Brad Peyton and another guy, Beau Flynn? I see Beau. To me, it
Beau.
looks like Beau.
That's Beau.
And we had this again. We had this on Laser Mission.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Beau Davis.
Beau Davis.
BJ Davis, Boy Davis.
Mm-hmm.
So Beau Flynn produced this. Now, did you notice the blonde at the beginning? The short hair, the astronaut?
Yeah, Marley Shelton. Yeah.
Yeah, Marley Sheltons. They're married.
Oh, okay. That was why she was in that. Well, there was, and we're going to talk about the cast. The cast was pretty filled out with, like, very recognizable character actors, top to bottom.
Yeah.
So even a small part like that, having Marley Shelton in there, wasn't weird because the whole cast was like that. My Stoned Ass was so excited to see her at the beginning because I love Marley Shelton.
Well, the director, the producer, and the writer, well, there's 4 writers on this, but 3 of them all had connections through San Andreas. So they clearly like to work together. I did find that one of the writers also wrote Alvin and the Chipmunks, The Road Chip, and I was like, oh, no.
No thanks.
This movie was starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson as Davis Okoye.
Okoye, yeah.
Yes, and he was a primatologist and the head of an anti-poaching unit and apparently special forces. So he was everything in this.
He was The Rock. He was playing The Rock in this.
He was a little Mary Sue. Like, it seemed like he could just figure everything out.
Yeah.
Oh, a helicopter? I got this.
Yeah.
And then we had Naomi Harris as Dr. Kate Caldwell, a discredited genetic engineer who teams up with Okoye. God, I can't say his name. Okoye. By the way, it took me almost the entire movie, but I finally figured it out. She's Moneypenny from Bond.
Yeah, I remember her from 28 Days Later. She's been acting forever.
Oh, we had Marlene Ackerman. I know it's
Malin
Swedish.
Ackerman? Yeah.
Anyway, she was Claire Wyden, the woman responsible for everything in this, the mutations of George, Ralph, and Lizzie, and Project Rampage.
Yeah.
So, and then we had Jake Lacey as Brett Wyden, the dim-witted brother and the PR for the company. We had Jeffrey Dean Morgan as Harvey Russell, a government agent who works for the agency called OGA, also nicknamed the Cowboy.
Yeah.
God, I loved him in this.
I'll talk about that in a sec.
And Joe Manganiello. Joe Manganiello, whatever. He's from True Blood, Magic Mike films, and a couple other things. Why was he in this?
It was that same thing like Marley Shelton. It was like, have a character actor just play this small part.
Okay.
Because, yeah, it's like every character, every like role that was paid attention to in this movie was played by like a famous actor, which is just kind of strange, but like a fun choice.
Okay. By the way, I noticed this was edited by the same guy who did Star Wars: The Last Jedi. I just thought that was fun. All right. Production company's New Line and distributed by Warner Brothers because Warner Brothers distributes everything New Line does now. They merged in 2008. I was really close. I said 2009.
Nice. Like we said, we're about to get into it here. We'll talk about the budget in a second, but like this feels like a 90s New Line, big budget summer tentpole movie.
Yes, we're gonna do Mortal Kombat next week, and this freaking feels like it was like both these scripts are written right next to each other.
Right? Yeah. Exactly. Like you've got listed here like the Rush Hour movies, the Austin Powers movies, Dumb and Dumber, The Mask. This fits in with those so well. The Rampage does. Like it just feels like those movies.
Yeah. Somewhere behind this, Bob Shea is just like, I know I'm not in charge. I don't work here anymore, but I approve this script.
yeah. This one would have Bausche approval for sure.
Right now, so this was done at a budget of 120 million. You know how they just kind of estimate those, but 38 million this weekend in domestic, 115 worldwide. 55 of that was from China alone.
Yeah, this is gonna make money. This is gonna end up probably coming to like 300, 400 worldwide. People, it's getting decent reviews. Mm-hmm. People seem to like it. It's the best reviewed video game movie.
I heard that.
It is the best reviewed video game movie thus far.
I was surprised, so I guess they didn't like the new Tomb Raider that much? Oh, wait, what was this reviewed at for Rotten Tomatoes?
60% or something like that.
Oh, okay.
I feel like Tomb Raider's like in the 50s or something, so they were close.
Geez, these were really close. It looks like Rampage is at 50% and Tomb Raider's at 49%. Wow. Well, anyway, let's get into this movie.
Hell of a day, huh? Giant gorilla on the loose. There's a 30-foot wolf out there. Weirdos on the internet calling him Ralph. It's clever.
There's something in the river.
I was just thinking the only thing that's missing right now is a giant crocodile.
Rampage. Experience it in IMAX. Rated PG-13.
Can you explain the plot to this?
I think I can. I was very stoned, so I think I kept up with the movie.
I want to hear I don't want to call you a stoner. I want to hear someone stoned, trying to figure this out.
Yeah, so a project being worked on in space, which has genetic mutation to cure all disease, and they want to save the samples, but the ship ends up crashing because there's a giant rat that eats Marley Shelton, which is amazing. If you want a stoned person to love your movie, start it that way. That movie started and I was like, this is fucking amazing. I was immediately in love with the movie when I saw the giant rat and I was like, this is perfect. It crash lands, she dies, the ship is wrecked, but the samples survive and they are dispersed throughout the country. The world, aren't they? Or no, is it the country? It's just the country, right?
It's just the United States.
Yeah, okay. It's dispersed throughout the country in different regions.
I think one was one of the Dakotas, one was California, and the other one was somewhere in the bayou.
Yeah, exactly. Something like that. And different animals get infected. One of them being the Rock's monkey he's in charge of at the zoo.
Hey, that's George. A gorilla, and his name is George.
George the gorilla. He is one of them, and he gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and eventually the government gets involved with Jeffrey Dean Morgan's agency, and they want to keep George to test him, and then they want to also use him to help find the other ones. All the while, Malin Ackerman has a signal at the top of the Sears Tower, which is beckoning all of them. So George breaks out, and they all convene in Chicago, where they then destroy buildings. And George is getting more and more aggro as the serum takes effect. And so are all the other animals. That's what I got out of it. Yeah. I might have filled in gaps that didn't happen in the movie with things I wanted to have happen, but I'm pretty sure that's what happened in the movie.
Good enough. Now, after this point, we may spoil this movie, so go see it, come back. We don't purposely want to spoil it, but if we're going to talk about the film, maybe you should watch it first.
yeah, I gave you the plot without spoiling anything. So now, pause here, go watch it, and then come back.
All right, now that you're back, I kind of want to talk about this character by character, because this script is really simple. This whole movie is big, dumb, fun.
Yes.
It's, here's how the monsters are created, the monsters grow, the monsters bash.
Yeah.
And since it's a rock movie, nothing bad's going to happen at this, so everything's going to turn out fine. And this was like a 12-year-old script.
Yeah.
I get it. They're marketing towards it. I knew what I was going into. I'm not expecting, Shakespeare here, and I don't care. Just give me a big, dumb, fun movie. I'm going to get some of my cons out of the way with it. I thought Claire Wyden and Brett Wyden were some of the thinnest bad guys I've seen in a movie.
I will not disagree with you here. However, their performances were wonderful. They were just so stupidly over the top that I loved it. Like, I was just like, there. And like, Malin Ackerman has done some B movies, but she's done some A movies too. And Jake Lacy I've only ever seen in like more high profile like not high profile, but like well regarded indie movies I've seen him in. So, and I know he's done The Office as well, but I mostly think of him from like stuff like Obvious Child and films like that, where he's like being a good actor, and then like he shows up in this and he's like playing it so big. It was really fun to watch the two of them chew scenery.
Yeah, they really did. Like, I mean, she was really notorious for it. I mean, just the total like I'm mean, like when she shoots the rock, and I was like, oh, okay, I like that part.
Yeah, she's just like mean to be mean. There's no reason for it. It's pretty, like you said, it's pretty thin. Well, but I don't care.
And they're doing all this for money. They already own a building and a giant corporation. How much more money do you need?
Well, it's the greed. It's the corporate greed. They just want more. Well, they want to be the best and the biggest and the most money.
Put that in there. Like, if we can pull this off, we'll be bigger than yada yada. Like something. There's like the motivation on them were so thin. It's almost like they were an afterthought. They're like, we've got to make these characters. She must be hated by the 12-year-olds.
Right. Immediately.
And he must be laughed at by the 12-year-olds. Right. And there's our bad guys. And
yeah.
Like with 4 writers, I'm sure they were more fleshed out at one point, but they just kept getting stripped until they became complete caricatures of whatever. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson as Davis. Okay. Oh, God damn it.
Okay. Oh, now I can't say.
Damn it.
Whatever. The Rock. He plays The Rock. But
he is the exact same character in every movie.
Yeah, but you know what? He's so fun to watch, and he's so charismatic and so likable. It's fine. Like, it works.
Do you think he has range anymore? Or do you think he doesn't care?
I think he doesn't have... Like, I've seen him have range. He's great as, like, sort of awkward characters in... He's really funny in Be Cool, the 2005 sequel, Get Shorty. He's the best part of that movie. And then in Southland Tales, where he has, like, nervous tics and he's, like, got anxiety and stuff, he's, like, acting. He's, like, really, really acting. He's not playing The Rock. So I know he has it in him to give, like, a great performance. But, I don't know if it's just, like, he's, like, I don't have to dig deep. I can just be surface, and my movies are going to make money anyway.
I heard someone compare him to Will Smith, and I don't think that's fair at all, because Will Smith challenges himself. He goes all kinds of different directions.
Yeah.
I think what they're comparing him with, he always does the blockbuster. Remember from, like, Independence Day.
He's doing that now, but, like, he's not given the range.
But once Will Smith got to Ali, he changed. I don't think that's fair. I think Will Smith is a much better, well-balanced actor.
And I think The Rock will get there, though. I think he's going to do a few more years of these and then get burnt out.
I don't think he will.
You don't think so?
No, he refuses. I found this out. I was reading more about The Rock. He refuses to do scripts that turn out bad. I only want to do movies where at the end everyone feels good when they go home.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that same article, too, because they were talking about the ending of Rampage. Yeah, but that could be now. It could just be right now. I don't know. I can't see the future with The Rock, but I know he's going to be around forever.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's one of the most charismatic men on screen I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, he's doing right now. Maybe he's not necessarily doing the Will Smith thing. He's doing the Schwarzenegger, Stallone, Willis of the early '90s route. He's just doing his big action movies, and we'll see which route. Does he go down the Stallone route, where he's more into writing and directing? Does he go to the Arnold route, where like he goes politics and then goes to like more dramas then after? Or does he go the Willis route and he just does the same thing forever?
Wait a minute. Is The Rock going to bring the smackdown on Trump? Is that what you're saying right now?
Maybe he will.
Oh, man.
Maybe. You know he's going to run as a Republican if he runs. So.
Really?
I think so.
You think a big Samoan's going to go Republican?
Yep, I do.
All right,
money.
enough.
Look at all that money that dude's got.
Oh, yeah, he's got to have a lot. I wonder how much he makes a film. I also wonder, why he did the exact same movie back-to-back with Jumanji and this.
Yeah.
I was like,
because he doesn't need to. He doesn't need to do anything
Maybe
else.
Put a spacer between that. Naomi Harris did great.
Yeah, she's fun to watch. She actually brings a level of, like, class to it, because she's actually, like, a really good actress.
And intelligence.
Yeah.
I believed her. I didn't so much have any emotion for her dying brother that ended up dying. I kind of completely forgot about that aspect of her, but I thought she brought intelligence to actually being a scientist. Like,
right.
I felt like, okay, yeah, I buy you.
You know, well, and I guess the writing and the directing came through well, because she is beautiful, but you also still buy her as a scientist. We've talked about other movies where, like, they cast a beautiful woman as a scientist, and we're like, come on, like, we don't believe it. This works. She's both smart and beautiful, and it comes across.
And my favorite character, Matt's favorite character.
Absolutely.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan coming in as Harvey Russell. Wow.
He doesn't just chew scenery in this movie. He is the Rampage that destroys the scenery in this movie. He
like, as soon as he gets on screen, he pulls out, like, a picnic basket, and he puts down his car. He has an entire meal in front of you. That's how much scenery he chews.
Yes.
And man, I could not get... I wanted more of him.
Yes. But, like, the first scene he's in, the first extended scene he's in, I leaned over to Ashley during the movie, and I was like, what is Jeffrey Dean Morgan doing in this movie? And she was like, I don't know, but it's fantastic. And I go, 100% agree.
Like, he's a government agent, part of the other government agent.
Right.
OGA.
Yeah.
But he's got the gun in front. He's clearly acting like a cowboy. He's got all these little, my grandpappy used to say.
Grandpappy was the best. Every time he said that phrase,
Yeah,
I was crying laughing.
There are two lines that he says in this I loved. Well, my grandpappy said, us assholes got to stick together. And I was like, oh, I love it. And then he was like, when science shits... God, I can't even say. When science shits the bed... I'm the guy they call to change the sheets. I was like, yes!
Yeah, guys, if you haven't seen this movie and you're still listening, see this movie for him. Like, oh my God. It's so, like, he's got this swagger. He, like, does this, like, fun, like, lean with every line he says. He's got this southern drawl that's so over the top. I mean, for a stone person like me, I was just, like, enamored by him. I was just, like, crying, laughing, just, like... but not laughing at the performance. It was a great performance. It was just, like, he was so just magnetic that it was just, like, this is amazing. What is this choice? Because I've seen Jeffrey Dean Morgan in so many things before, and he is a fine actor, but, like, where did this come from?
Negan, when he plays Negan on The Walking Dead, you said that you heard someone say, oh, that's pretty much the same character. And I'm like... Yeah, yes, he plays kind of like Joe Cool Negan, but also
Negan turned up to 11.
Yeah, this one is just Negan acting like a cowboy who's a government agent who keeps saying one-liners that are amazing. Like, I don't know if he wrote those. I don't know who did it, but holy shit. If this is possible, I wanted more of him than The Rock, and I love The Rock.
Yeah, same. I will see any movie with The Rock in it because they're always fun. Negan or whatever, Jeffrey Dean Morgan stole the show. Stole it. Just took the movie and ran away with it. Like,
all right, here's a couple things, my pros and cons of the movie. I'm going to start with the cons because, they're like, ugh. But the pros, I'm going to hit it with the end. I thought it was funny that these cases could survive re-entry into the Earth. But right when animals, for plot's sake, right when animals got close to him, they busted.
Right.
And then, okay, so I get it. It comes in through their nostrils. It genetic mutates them and everything like that. But what does anything else around them? Like, does it
just stop at them? Yeah, no, right, exactly.
All right, so some of that, but I was like, this script, I know what we're coming in here for. Let's just forget that. There were a couple other things, like how the gator gets from, like, the bayou all the way up to Chicago through...
Right.
I don't know how that happened, but again...
Who cares?
Fuck it, let's just get to the city. There are a few other things I thought were pretty funny, but we're just going to skip to them. Now... George, I think, is the best actor in this film. I think Jeffrey Dean Morgan, for me, was the most enjoyable to watch. I thought the most charismatic was The Rock in a way, and I thought the best actor in this was whoever's doing the mocap for George.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, like, I didn't read anything into, like, the behind the scenes of this movie. I was gonna say, like, George had to have been, like, motion captured because there was something more to that performance than just a CG blob like the wolf and the gator are. So there had to be some sort of motion capture there, and it was quite great. I was expecting it to be shitty because we're in the day and age with the Planet of the Apes movies, which have probably the best special effects of any movie out right now, the 3 new Planet of the Apes movies. And usually when another movie does apes, my brain immediately has to compare it to that and be like, nah, it's not as good as the Apes movies. And while Rampage is not as good as the Apes movies, it's pretty damn good, though. It's pretty good. Like, the effects are good. Good motion capture, they get a good performance, and it doesn't look like just like a blobby blur of color coming towards you when he's, like, running around.
Yeah, this, I don't even know, they kind of blended cartoony and realistic on a nice blend.
Yeah.
I just had no problem watching these monsters destroy the city. It was fun. My other nitpick was, okay, so when the Rock gets shot, and they put that line in there, it didn't hit any of the vitals. Yeah, but you can't just run around like that and not bleed from a gunshot wound. Like, did you notice that?
Yeah.
I'm like, what is up with that?
Yeah.
Why was that?
Because it's The Rock.
I think there had to be something changed in the script.
I just think it's The Rock, honestly. I feel like he's just like, yeah, I'm not going to, like, limp around. Like, I'm The Rock. I'm fine.
It's just like he occasionally puts his hand over the wound. And I'm like, will you just stop that? Just stop it.
Quit trying to lie to us.
And then the last nitpicky thing, when they turned on first of all, I was like, wow, how are we going to get the monsters all of Chicago? And they're like, oh, we'll just flip this switch on this sonar.
Yeah.
And my first thought was, yeah, but won't that attract, because it's like, oh, we use this with bats to attract them. Like,
won't it attract a bunch of bats? Where are the bats?
Anyway, on to the pros.
First pro, and I want to jump in.
Oh, did you have any cons?
No. But my first pro, I want to just jump in, and then I want to let you go through all your pros.
All right, Matt, what is your big pro?
So, yeah, I wanted to jump in here before, and then I'll let you say all your pros, and then I'll come back and do my pros and cons. But, like, I just wanted to mention in this room, you talking about the Rock and his wound and how he just, like, walks it off reminded me of the thing that made me scream laugh in the movie theater. And I wasn't the only one that did. But, like, I, like, literally scream laughed, and it was the smallest moment. But at one point, Jeffrey Dean Morgan has The Rock and Naomi Harris zip-tied, handcuffed, and it goes on for a while, and he shuffles them around because they're zip-tied, handcuffed, and he's got them in custody, and it goes on for a while. And just at one point, in just true The Rock fashion, when shit hits the fan, he pops the zip-tie handcuffs off like they're paper, and I scream laughed when it happened because it was just so The Rock, but it was still so funny. Like, it was perfect. It was perfect.
When he did that, someone in our theater, so I saw this on a Sunday morning, a lot of kids, which, by the way, there's a lot of violence and swearing in this movie for, like, kids.
In true New Line fashion.
Yeah, and I was looking around, I go, but there's like an 8-year-old girl or like a 5-year-old next to me, and anyway, these parents, one guy, when The Rock does that, he's just like, damn right. Like, wait, what? And I look over at him. But I had people cheering and clapping during parts of this movie, and I'm like, I am so out of touch with these people. Like, to me, I was just like giggling, laughing, going like, wow, these are ridiculous. And I had a couple eye rolls with some of the dialogue, so I'm like, they're like, I understand who this is written for. Right. I really do. So I don't want to sit here and be like, oh, Jesus, dialogue, who is this written by? Because it doesn't matter. It's supposed to be stupid. But they're like, I've gotten to a point in my life where I'm like, oh, come on.
Try a little bit.
Yeah.
My only con, I have one major con with the movie, and it's not even that major because I love this movie. My major con, I guess, with it was I wish they embraced the fun a little bit more. The movie is mercifully short for this type of movie. It's only about an hour and 45 minutes long. There are some gaps where it's like, get to the monsters, get to the fun stuff, and it does move pretty well. But I think they could have trimmed either a little bit more human stuff or sped it along or something like that, or just had more Jeffrey Dean Morgan in the scenes, just something to amp it up to the fun level that the other scenes are at. So a little bit uneven in that regard, but like for the most part, I can't complain about it. I mean, there's so many pros I have for this movie. It'd be too many to list. What I would just say overall is that, like, they knew what it was. They made a fun movie, and they embraced it with stupid shit like, the arcade game is in the background of the offices where the bad guys are. The sound that they use to attract bats is the sound from the game. Like, little shit like that was stuff that, like, kept me through what was just, like, a dumb fun movie. And it was like, oh, they kind of, like, they know what they're doing. Like, they really know what they're doing with this movie. They are putting in as many things as possible to make it as fun as possible.
No, they definitely had someone who played the game and knew the game. You had the bomber who came in that was going to hit him with the large bomb.
Right.
So you used to have that in the game. You had George. He ate the bad guy, the woman, whatever her character's name was. There were several things from the game. They actually made the alligator a female. They don't explain it in the script, but her, the alligator's name is Lizzie. Mm-hmm. So, okay. And clearly they know what they're doing. They're just making a big, dumb, fun summer movie. It is the perfect thing. It's a perfect popcorn movie. You're not going to have to think at all. Turn off you'll enjoy this movie a lot better if you turn off your brain. Or in Matt's case, just get stoned.
Get super stoned. Yeah, get so stoned you don't know who you are anymore.
Because I had to fight my own brain thinking too much in this. I was like, and at about the time when they're like, they're only 20 miles outside of the city, like, finally my brain's just like, just give up.
Have fun with it.
The only out loud thing I said in this, and The Rock literally said it right after me, is when George punches or throws the wolf, and then the wolf, like, flies back like a flying squirrel, and I go, ha, of course.
and
then
of course it can fly.
Of course the wolf can fly.
All those little things like that is like, just they're so acutely aware of the kind of movie they're making, and they got a bunch of money and they're playing in a sandbox, and seeing the movie, in theaters, with a full house, it was just the best time, but also was super nostalgic because it did remind me of, like, when I would see these big blockbuster movies in the early 90s, and it would be a full house on a Saturday night. And, I never go to movies on Saturdays anymore, but I did for this one because it was the only night I could get high. It was kind of crazy and nostalgic, just my experience, but then also, like, this is the perfect movie for that nostalgic experience because it is like those movies of the 90s where just the crowd is cheering, everybody's having a good time. Yeah, it's big, dumb, and fun, and I personally loved it. When I was stoned, I thought it was probably the greatest movie I've ever seen, and with some distance, and I could step back, I would not say that, but I will say it was a super fun movie. I will watch it again. I probably will only ever watch it stoned, though, just so I can maybe relive that experience, but super fun, and I really liked it.
Kind of obvious, but I encourage you going to see this movie if you want a popcorn flick. Go see it.
Yep, don't miss it, actually, honestly. Like, if you were waiting for a type of movie like this, don't miss this one. This is the one.
All right, behind the scenes, there's not much to it. The Rock almost didn't do this because in the original script, George died.
Yeah.
And then they, I guess, kind of compromised, and they had George fake his death.
And it actually is super funny. You get the monkey motioning the sex with the fingers. Yeah. All works out. All works out in the end for me.
I think you actually did say this, but I think it's easy. The Gorilla George is the 10 to 13-year-old boys.
Right.
He's just representing what they were thinking.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So the funniest thing behind the scene was the lawsuit from Uwe.
Yeah.
In late March 2018, German director Uwe threatened to... I just like to say it like that. I know it's Uwe, but I don't care. Uwe! Maybe he'll come fight me. Threatened to file a lawsuit against Warner Brothers if the studio did not change the film's title. He said, the movies he produced and directed, which is the Rampage film trilogy, which I have not seen, claimed that the Warner Brothers film will shrink his brand and revenues he could use for future installments of his Rampage films. He also went on to say that these Warner Brothers films confuse the audience and is one of those typical feel-good popcorn bullshit movies that the studios use to brainwash America.
I sort of love...
Oh, brainwash America even more. Right.
I sort of love Uwe Boll. I do. I think he's just a fascinating disaster.
Because he's a wild character.
And he's a wild card all the time. You never know what he's going to say. You never know what he's going to do. You never know what his movies are going to be. I've had so much fun seeing some of his movies before. I've never seen the Rampage movies because they just seem too ugly for me.
All right, let's move on to some nerd news.
Get those nerds! Nerd! Nerd!
All right, my nerd news is very short. I saw the new trailer for Jurassic World, The Lost Kingdom, The Fallen Kingdom. I don't give a crap. They basically just look like they're redoing The Lost World. I'm going to go watch it because I freaking love dinosaurs. And, of course, we're going to cover it for this podcast.
Yeah, spoiler alert, that's coming.
Yeah. If you couldn't figure that out, you don't listen to the show.
Of course we're going to talk about Jurassic Park.
I was a little disappointed. Hopefully it's good, but I'm starting to have my worries.
Yeah, I'm not watching any of the trailers. I'm one of the few people that did. Well, maybe not one of the few. I'm with more mainstream America. Mm-hmm. I liked Jurassic World. I thought it was fun. I thought it was nostalgic. I enjoyed it. It's flat, but whatever. I didn't need anything else from it. I liked Jurassic World, so I was excited for this. And the fact that everyone involved with it, including Spielberg being one of the producers, is advertising that this is a horror movie. It's a horror movie, and that's what the dinosaurs are the monsters. I'm in. I don't want to watch any trailers. You've sold me. You gave me the pitch, and I'm in. So, and I know they're going to be running around the suburbs, which I just think is hilarious. I know they did that already in Lost World, but come on, did we expect anything else? All these Part 2 reboots are always reboots of the other Part 2. We should know this by now.
Yeah, with the first one, I thought it was all right when I watched it. I haven't watched it since. And I have no intention. It's just, you said flat. The movie
flat,
to me, I'm
but
like,
it's nostalgic. It still has dinosaurs in it. It's still fine to me. I enjoy it.
I just didn't think it brought enough new to it. And this one, wow. I don't know if they're trying to trick us, but don't watch the trailers, by the way. Keep with that.
Yeah,
Keep
I'm not
strong.
going to. I'm not going to. I'm not going to watch trailers. I'm getting, being a horror fan, I'm getting really good at not watching the trailers because in the past decade or whatever, all the horror trailers spoil all the good scares. So I learned very quickly to not watch horror trailers anymore. So I can restrain myself and not watch the trailer for this big Hollywood movie as well. And
it's difficult, though, when you see enough movies like you and I do.
Yeah, that's the only tricky part. And I have been doing a thing where I go late purposely to movies now because I've seen the trailers I want to see already on the big screen, and then there's stuff like this that I don't want spoiled. So now I'm starting to show up late to movies on purpose, showing up 15 minutes late, knowing I'm gonna miss the trailers, so that I don't get shit like this spoiled.
Oh, I understand that. Let's move on to what did you watch?
I watched, to keep in line with the video game month, I went and saw Tomb Raider before it's gone from theaters. That one kind of came and went fast. I saw Tomb Raider, and I actually enjoyed it. I really like the first one with Angelina Jolie, Lara Croft Tomb Raider. I think that's a super fun movie. I think because of 9/11, that's the last fun, big budget Hollywood movie, and then everything changed. So I really enjoy that movie. It's dumb fun. I like it. This one doesn't compare. It's more realistic. It's more grounded. It's not as air quotes fun. I never saw the second Tomb Raider. I never saw it. I will someday.
See, I think Tomb Raider 2 is closer to one of the last 90s movies because it was the exact same stupidness.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe then I'll change my tune when I see that one. This new one was fun in its own way. It wasn't silly over the top big fun, but it breezy pace. Walton Goggins is the bad guy, and he's just so yummy to watch as a bad guy, Okay. He's another one that just chews scenery so well. And Alicia Vikander is a perfect new Lara Croft. I think she's great, and she brings her Oscar clout with her being a great, not that Angelina Jolie wasn't a great actress, she was fantastic, but Alicia Vikander is coming off of winning an Oscar and doing this, so it's kind of cool to see her let her hair down and cut loose a little bit. I do recommend it if you like the other movies or you like the game. I thought it was cool. It was fine. I had nothing great. It's no Rampage, but I liked it.
So I tried to watch the series that you and I brought back.
Yes,
welcome,
we did
Netflix.
this. We did this.
Boring. Could not get through couldn't finish the whole first episode.
Lost in Space you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't like any of the characters. Very boring.
I'm not going to watch it. I just like the 90s movie too much. I just don't care. I don't need this. I was going to watch it, but then, yeah, like when I started seeing some of the images from it and reading about it, I was just like, this isn't what I want. Like, I wanted a TV adaptation, like, of the movie.
This movie's so far, this show seems like it's for 50 to 60-year-old people who, like, don't want too much excitement.
Oh, okay. Maybe they watched the old show when they were kids, and now they want something kind of even keel now.
Maybe it gets better. Maybe it's just the pilot episode. They're feeling it. But the problem is, like, it was so boring, I don't want to give it another shot. I might, just for this show. Because we brought it back.
Well, yeah, we did this. So anything you want rebooted, please send us tapes of, and we will cover, because we will bring them back. We did it with Leprechaun. We did it with this. We can't be stopped.
Mortal Kombat might come back. We don't know.
Can you imagine if when we finish... By the way, that's next week. Can you imagine when we finish Mortal Kombat if the next day they announce, like, Mortal Kombat 3 or Mortal Kombat the reboot is in production now? We would shit. Like,
yeah.
Like, can you imagine?
Man, and the other movie I went back and rewatched, and boy, is it long, but really good, is Heat.
Heat is one that I just saw within the last, 5 years. So I missed it when it first came out. Love it. It moves. For a 3-hour movie, you never feel it once.
So Sarah couldn't make it through the movie, but she made it through, an hour. She's like, wow, this is really good. How much longer? And I paused it, and I go, just an hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah, and it's just yeah, it's long. It's long.
But yeah, first of all, I always forget Ashley Judd's in that.
I love Ashley Judd.
She's the wife of Val Kilmer's character.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And Val Kilmer, spoiler if you haven't seen Heat, I'm about to ruin it.
25 years later.
He's the only character that survived. I mean, Al Pacino, which is the detective, but Val Kilmer, which you think he was going to be the first one to die,
right,
because he's kind of the idiot that keeps making the mistakes, but at the end of it, De Niro doesn't follow through with his plan. I love it. Have you not seen that? Go see it. It inspired Christopher Nolan in a lot of it for the Batman The Dark Knight robbery.
Yeah. No, I mean, the whole movie, The Dark Knight, is Heat. It's Heat.
Yeah. And for the longest time, I thought Christopher Nolan worked on the movie, but no. I guess I just made that up in my head.
Yeah, he was probably still doing student movies at the time.
Yeah, who knows what he was doing. He's probably just begging people for money and a chance.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Next week... If I haven't said it enough, we are doing New Line's 1995 Mortal Kombat.
Here's a crazy thing for me with Mortal Kombat going into it. This is another one, like a lot of our New Line movies we've talked about, that I haven't seen for a good probably 15 years. I saw it when it first came out, and I saw it again as a teenager, but I haven't seen it since. So it'll be interesting. Yep. I probably at least 15 years haven't seen it. Now, I have seen Mortal Kombat Annihilation so many times in my adult life, more than I'm proud to say. You know what? I'm proud to say.
Yeah, I was going to say
I wear that as a badge of honor.
Yes, I see you all the time. You're like, I've seen that one much more.
Yeah, I've seen it more. I love that movie. I don't know how I feel about Mortal Kombat the original, so we're going to find out.
I had a friend when I asked him, I go, should we do Mortal Kombat or whatever else for a video game movie? He goes, Mortal Kombat Annihilation. And I'm like, I'm sorry to disappoint you. We're going to start with the first one and do that one later. He's just like, I don't care then. I was like, wow.
Yeah, I know that there'll be several people wanting us to do. I know several friends that'll be wanting us to do Annihilation at some point. So we have to deliver probably within the year on that.
Well, it's funny because I had Mortal Kombat the VHS, and you have Mortal Kombat Annihilation the VHS, so it's a perfect match.
Yeah, it's gonna work out great.
We're gonna do it. We also have a special tape. I already revealed it. We're doing the animated video that came with this. The was it something?
Journey Begins.
Journey Begins. Yeah, I watched that today, and I only did it for you guys. It is an hour long.
I'm going to watch it still too. So I haven't watched it as the time of this recording. I haven't watched Mortal Kombat yet, and I haven't seen this maybe ever. So this is going to be really interesting for me.
I enjoyed Mortal Kombat. The Journey Begins. We'll talk about that next week.
All right. Yeah. So we'll be back next week with 2 Mortal Kombats, and that concludes Video Game Month. That's it. We
That's
blew
it.
through it.
It was amazing. Next month is all Matt, and he's going to pick those out. I'm sure he has a little list. I don't know. I don't know.
I will share it as soon as we get off air here.
Okay, rate and review us on iTunes. You can listen to us on Podbeans and the YouTubes.
Yes.
And-
Thank you for all the subscribing and reviewing so far. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing it. Please continue to do so.
All right, until next week, take it easy.
Be kind and rewind. No, we don't do that on these.
No.
Oh, okay.
I
Bye.
know. I forget our rules too.
Lamb. Well, I tell you what, piss on the lamb, piss on Mary, and piss on you. The Rock is going to go out there tonight and do what he does best. And let's lay the smackdown on your Rudy Poo. Hey, don't do it. Don't do it, because The Rock guarantees to prove to you, this goof holding the camera, this chick gawking at The Rock, he will prove to the millions and millions of The Rock's fans exactly why The Rock is the great one, exactly why The Rock is the chosen one, and exactly why The Rock is, without a shadow of a doubt, the best damn WWF champ there ever was. If you smell... Hey, Philly, this ain't sing along with the champ. If you smell what The Rock... it's cooking.